another edition of Focus on Hopkins County. I'm your host, Tim Thomas. We are certainly glad you've joined us for this very special edition of our program. We have a great program in store for you. We have a lot of exciting things that are going on here in the city of Madisonville, KY. Still the best town on earth. And we're glad to have three very special guests with us on this day. And sitting right next to me is Leslie Corneal, who is the Madisonville City Clerk. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Sitting in the middle is Jenny Gibson, who is with the America in Bloom and also chairs the floral display that you see downtown in downtown Madisonville as well. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. And on the very end is none other than Michelle Hill, who is a member of the Community Improvement Foundation Board of Directors. And we're certainly glad you all have joined us for Focus on Hopkins County.
Thank you. Thank you to be here.
You know, as I was saying earlier, a lot of exciting things are happening. The America in Bloom has just started to bloom out. Since its inception, we're seeing a lot of great things. And I guess I'll start with you, Leslie. Tell us a little bit about the program and how it came into fruition.
Okay. The America in Bloom program is a national program, and we have been a part of it for 5 years now. So hopefully today we can educate the community more about what we do. But each year, 2 judges come to our community, and they're spending 2 full days hearing from our committee about the different programs that we've implemented, the improvements that we've made throughout the community, and then they're touring the different places. And what they're looking for is things that are taking place in terms of floral display, landscaped areas, environmental areas, or environmental efforts, historic preservation, in our urban forestry, how we take care of our tree canopy, and also community involvement. So they're looking at a variety of things, and it's not just about what our group has done, it's about what the entire community has done. So when United Way puts a day of caring together, we tell about that. We tell about what Habitat does in building homes, and what the Extension Office does and with their Master Gardeners. So it's about what everyone does through the community.
It certainly does take a village.
It does. She says it all the time.
Yeah. And bringing this together was not an easy task.
No. We've worked on it. We've had many different people on the committee, and just, you know, again, educating the community. People see good things happening downtown, and it's spreading, and they want to be a part of that. They want to take pride. They do take pride in their community, and they want to be a part of that and giving back to make Madisonville the best town on earth, like you said.
Right, right. Jenny, when we talk about this and the importance of not only beautification, but what it does to the mindset of the people in the community, you have to spearhead that to make sure it all kind of comes together. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I come at this from a little bit different background. I was in construction and development lending for many years in Louisville, and I worked with a lot of developers and participated in construction of hotels and apartment complexes and power centers. And I knew from that experience how important the presentation of a venue is. And you've heard the term flower power, and that's really no joke. Flowers have, in beauty, has tremendous power, not only on the buying habits of a market, but on the mentality of a community. There's numerous studies about how when people are satisfied with their environment and they're in a beautiful environment, they have less sick days, they're happier with their community, they spend more money in their community, they volunteer more in their community. So these things are really important for us for a longevity standpoint for our community and to help us grow. And so when I've heard some people say, well, we need to focus on jobs, not planting flowers. Well, that's what we're doing. You know, we're trying to create an environment where our workforce is happier, and it will help us attract more employers for our community.
Sure, so it is a mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what we found with the recent bloom of the Primrose Project is that people, I have had so many people comment, they now go out of their way to drive past the Primrose, okay? And that may sound silly, but if we can expand that project throughout our community, how many people will drive into our community just to drive, you know, through it in this beauty? And then what are they going to do on the way? Are they going to stop and get something to eat? They might stop in our shops and spend some money. We've had so many residents that have been calling us, and businesses wanting to get flowers for their own property, and that's the eventual goal, is that we get the residents start looking at this and saying, hey, my property can look like that too, and they start to take even more pride, and then it becomes a swell of activity in our community that's unstoppable. So
yeah. So there is a need for people to be involved.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
And to stay involved, you know, to make their community even better, you know. Michelle, Community Improvement Foundation, which you are a member of the board, was part of this many years ago, and has come back to try to be a part of this again, to make sure that the community continues to be involved in this project. From your personal standpoint, where do you see the Community Improvement Foundation going in this area?
Well, as we've seen a resurgence of interest in the community and building up the awareness of, we are a beautiful community. We want to make it the best that we can, but we have to have vested interest. We have to have those who are willing to put out their time, their efforts, and to get the promotion out there, if you will. And as Jenny said, right now the evidence are these beautiful flowers in bloom and all of the different interests that have come about in the community. As a community that is well established, we know that it does take many partners, and the Community Improvement Foundation is one of those that believes in what we're doing. As you said, we were once part of the inception of it, but now it's a reblooming, if you will. It's coming back, that we can get back involved and be a present help. These projects don't take place on their own. They have to have people, but they also have to have funding, and that's where our project and our foundation comes in. In helping that happen. So I think that moving forward, we see not only these projects, but as Jenny said, what's it going to lead to next? It's going to lead to increased commerce. It's going to lead to increased interest, hopefully more tourism, things that will bring people, families coming in to visit, or even interested partners coming in for more commerce, more business, more interest.
Right. And artwork, which the foundation has been, that we see throughout town too, plays a major part in the beautification of our area.
And promoting our children, getting involved, and ownership, having ownership in their community, something they can be proud of. We have lots of sports teams that come in to play tournaments. We have lots of industries that come in to either have their meetings or to look around and prospective buyers, prospective new industries. So why not make our community one that is on the chart, possible, and then our children can be raised up in that and want to stay in the community and want to continue to grow this America in Bloom project that we have here in Madisonville.
Yes.
You know, if I could add to that, Michelle, I think you really hit it as far as our kids. If you look at all the categories of American Bloom, these are all the things that tie people to their community. It's not whether we have potholes in our streets or water pressure. These are things that you remember. Like I remember as a child, a vibrant downtown, my grandmother taking me to Dollar Brothers and the sidewalk sales, and it was that memory, whether that condition even existed at the time that I moved back, however many years later, it was those memories that encouraged me to move back to my hometown, and then strive to, in some respects, recreate that for my child, so that she would have that tie. And so all of these projects and the things that the American Bloom Committee seeks to gather together what's going on in the community, and then help organize and put some more steam behind these different projects. Those are the things that I think my daughter, that this will be in her subconscious, these will be memories that she has about her community. And maybe when the time's right and our economy is such that she will either want to stay here or she'll want to come back, as I did. And then she'll take, she'll take the next steps after I'm long gone.
Sure. So it's important that we think about the future, and we think about our kids and the importance of our kids, what we leave behind for them. Leslie, when we talk about the America in Bloom, and I know we have a day set up where individuals throughout our community can work on their own projects to get prepared for the judges that will be coming in. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're planning a kickoff event.
Yes.
And that is scheduled for Thursday, June 2nd. I think we're going to do that downtown at the new mural on Sugg Street. And I think 11:30 is what we said. So that's going to be a time where we can, again, educate the community about what we do, but also honor our volunteers, bring the community together to let them know that the judges will be coming the next week. They will actually be in town on June 6th and 7th. We have a lot in store for them when they're here. So, but honoring the people who work so hard to make this community better is very important, and maybe we might not have done such a good job at doing that in the past, but we want to make sure that is done going forward. And so this day is a day that we will honor as many of those volunteers as we can. I know the watering cart is making its way downtown, and Jenny has been very instrumental in getting those volunteers, and so many of them are very faithful. They've done it since the very beginning.
When it was really hard. It's much easier now.
Really hard, but they keep coming back because they see the benefit and the impact it's had on the community. We've added a new water truck this year. I'm very proud of that, and we refurbished an old truck that the city had.
Eye-catching.
It's very eye-catching, and we put some bright flowers on it, and so this truck is able to go into places and water and do things that the golf cart, water cart, wasn't able to do. So we have a young lady that works at City Hall. She's a master gardener, and she's able to take her couple of days and care for the flowers, prune them, do a little gardening, and which was really needed to sustain this program, because we can add a beautiful plot of flowers, but we've got to make sure that we have the means in place to sustain this and grow, and that's very important in the master plan. So.
Yeah, so to talk about the truck for just a minute, anybody that has not seen James Madison in sunglasses,
it's wonderful.
It's a great opportunity to view that. The truck really stands out, and I think is not only sends a message, but is an added plus to what we're trying to do in downtown Madisonville.
Another thing that we're working on, Trish Knoll is on the committee, and she works with the Overall Impression Committee, and she is helping to organize a cleanup day. And we'll have more information coming out about that, but if there are any groups, youth groups, businesses, individuals that want to get involved in this cleanup day, it's going to be on a Thursday. I think it's maybe Thursday, May 26th is what we're looking at. And we're going to be very strategic about where we place the groups and have them work, but they'll be basically, picking up litter and doing, just very simple cleanup along our main corridors throughout the community. But it's important to have a clean community, and that's an easy way for people to be involved.
Absolutely, and it's kind of a spin-off from the day of caring, because if you care about your community, you'll want to make an effort to do that. Tell us about how we stand with the American Blue in the past. I know we have won some awards with some of the things we've done.
Yeah, well, our score goes up every year. We just keep getting better and better, and we talk about this at our meetings. We're really competing against ourselves. Although we're competing against like-sized communities, and then there are overall awards that you're competing with every community. The goal, isn't, we'd love to win no matter what, but the goal is for us to get better, and it kind of keeps our focus on making improvements. And we're getting great recommendations from judges who have been all over the United States and probably internationally traveled, and they're skilled in their field, and they have a fresh set of eyes that they're looking at our community and giving us feedback and making recommendations about what we can do, and that's very important. The one
I was going to say, and they allow us to stay in contact with them.
Oh.
And we have their email addresses, and I know, for example, in the 4-year process we've been researching and testing the Primrose, I was able to discuss directly with Katie Moss Warner, who was the head of Disney's landscape. I mean, that's gigantic. I mean, she's huge, and she is the president emeritus for the American Horticultural Society. And here in Little Kentucky, I can just sit down and either pick up my phone or sit at my computer, and I can communicate with somebody that is top in the industry and get their advice on some of these issues. I mean, we do it all the time. And our downtown pots, one of our former judges reviewed photos of our downtown and helped us choose what we think ended up being the perfect pot, container for our sidewalks that we've started on a program with that now at a far less cost than anything else we could find. So it really, throughout the year, these various projects, I mean, it's a wealth of information for us, and it's been so valuable.
One of the suggestions several years ago that was made by a judge, her background was architecture, I think, and we were touring the recycling center, and she suggested in the report that in the remodeling of the recycling center that they add skylights to reduce, make it more energy efficient, bring in natural lighting. And they did that. It was very easy for them to do, but may not have thought of it before. So the renovations outside of the Madisonville Fire Department that you're seeing now, some of those are recommendations that a judge made last year. Not all of it, but some of it. And so that sort of sparked some creative thinking, and both the fire and police department are looking fantastic. And so they give us a lot of feedback.
They really do. It's great.
Wow, that's great. And so the judges, we want to talk about this kickoff, which is June the 2nd, which is a Thursday, 11:30 a.m. down at Mount Pillier, which is in downtown Madisonville, right on the corner of Main and Sugg Street. And we want to encourage everyone to come out to this event, be a part of this. This is going to be a time of not only talking about the America in Bloom, but also, as Leslie says, to give a thank you out to those that participate to help make this what it is. And Michelle, I know when we're planning this and been working on this, kids, you talked about kids. Kids are going to be involved in the program itself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're going to have probably 8 to 10 little ones, and it'll be a nice little surprise and a treat for the community. But they're going to be adorned in flowers and singing a special song just to honor the kickoff. And they are part of this, part of this wonderful community. So they're one of our best resources, and I think that the community will be very pleased with the performance that they give.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the foundation board is excited as well.
Yes.
To be participating in this and to be a part of this.
We are. We are very much, after all, that's what it's about, is improving our community. And so just partnering, instead of reinventing the wheel, partnering with the things that are in place.
Better.
Right, exactly. So,
right.
Yes, we are.
Leslie, tell us a little bit about how the judges will be participating, what their job will be.
Sure. When they arrive in the community, they will be here for 2 full days. The first half of June 6th, the committee will spend with them making presentations, telling them about all of the things that we've done in the past and this past year for each specific category. Again, we're judged overall impression, floral display, landscaped, urban forestry, historic preservation, and community involvement. And so they're looking at all of those categories, how it's impacted residential areas, our municipal area, and our business industry. So they're going to be touring. Following our presentations, they'll tour. We'll take them through neighborhoods. We'll take them to our college, to our parks, planning a visit for what's the farm.
Sunny Slope Farm.
Sunny Slope Farm.
Okay.
We're planning to add that, but quite a bit of time will be spent at Mar Park, and so at the end we'll kind of do a recap with them. They'll take all of that information back with them, compile a report, and in late summer, early fall, there will be a symposium where awards are presented. And then at the end of the symposium, we'll get the report, a feedback, and we'll share that with our community and take all of their suggestions into consideration for future growth and improvement.
Are these different judges each year?
Each year they are different judges. So like I said, they have different skill sets. This year our two judges, one is Linda Cromer, she is from Greendale, Indiana, and Teresa Woodard of Galloway, Ohio. They have backgrounds in planning commission, which you'll be very interested in to meet. Parks, one of them served on a tree board. One of them is an award-winning master gardener and is a journalist major, so she does a lot of writing for magazines and that sort of thing. So, I'd be interested to see what their feedback is.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have different ones with different backgrounds, whether it's architecture or horticulture or whatever. So each year we get some different information, some additional information, and it's just not repeat or just a different opinion, on this same subject. We get to look at all the areas in the community.
Yeah. Well, Jenny, how did you come up with what flowers to use? What is your mindset? I know I visited one place to try to, which I did, get some flowers that you had planted, and they're letting me know Jenny is like a hard driver. This is what and that was putting it like
this is what it is. Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about that.
It's been a learning process because on our downtown sidewalks in particular, there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of sun. We have to, our watering capabilities have definitely improved.
Well, I'll just talk about the Primrose Project. It's a perfect example of taking what was a vision of Jenny's. She ran with it. The city got on board. Downtown Turnaround Partnership is on board. Women's Club. We had several volunteers putting these plants in, and we talked to the neighbors over on Arch Street, and they were pleased that we were doing something that no longer were they going to have to care for that little plot of grass between the sidewalk and the street. Little skeptical about whether or not it was going to take root and bloom, but when they saw it bloom, oh my word, they were just in awe. And so we had people calling, wanting to be involved. How can we help? How can we participate? We expanded the project another block.
I ended up just putting a post on Facebook and saying,
wow.
Hey, we need to do this, and does anybody want to help? So we had people show up, and it was wonderful. Wow. Karen Elliott, Barrett Elliott, Shane Crawford, and so the four of us knocked it out in about an hour and 15 minutes. And of course before that, the city comes in, and some of the city employees come in and remove the sod, and they have a tiller and till it up and put preen and fertilizer down for us and throw some mulch on. I guess it's probably coming from the recycling center, so that's a good use of that product that they're generating. And then we come in and plug the plants, and luckily God knew we needed some water, so we've had plenty of rain, and they're looking beautiful. But the really interesting thing, and I was like a lot of projects, when you start, it takes a while for it to take off and people to see the vision, and sometimes you feel like it's just your crazy vision and nobody's gonna care, And so about a month ago I was on Arch Street and doing an initial weeding so the plants could get good and established. And I was there by myself, and it was hot, and I was tired, and it was Sunday afternoon, and my family was fishing or whatever, having a good time. And I thought, Jenny, what are you doing? Nobody cares. And then I looked up and looked across the street, and there was one primrose plant that had started to bloom. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And so I finished my job, and but what was so great is, and it almost, I don't cry very often, but it's very emotional because, this has been a 4-year-long battle, pretty much by myself. And so it was so wonderful when the plants started to bloom, and then people started making posts on Facebook, and they started calling City Hall, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, thank you, God, for giving me those few flowers. I understand. And so, not that we're all about the Primrose Project, but I think it's a good example of once you reach a critical mass on any of these projects, then it takes all that hard work for people to start to take ownership of it. And I think the more people that get involved, the less problems we're going to have with anybody that would potentially be a naysayer. And people I think they're going to be super protective of their flowers and of whatever they take ownership in the overall process. And it's at that point then that we can really start to move forward.
And flowers, they make you smile. They make you happy. If you think about what occasions do we have that flowers are given just to make you smile and to make you feel better. And what a nice thing we can do in a small community. That's where we are so blessed in a small community that you can take off with a project like this. Get partners to join in, and it's worthwhile. You're always going to have some naysayer. You're always going to have opposition, but for the majority, you're seeing a positive product. You're seeing a positive outlook. And what's next? I like the vision. I like the vision Jenny's sharing. What's next after this? Because this will take root, so to speak. Pardon the pun, but it will, and it has. And so, what's next? So I do. My dad was a master gardener, and I love flowers. My husband says the best time I have is digging in the dirt. So we do love this. We appreciate it. And I think that more and more people are buying into that because they appreciate the efforts, but they also see the reward of that beauty. And it's the little steps. And oftentimes you don't see what's behind the scenes, but it's good programs like this to hear what's going on behind the scenes. It takes a lot of work, and it doesn't take just one person. You have to have partners. So that's where we can be blessed as well and receive the benefit of it.
Right. What would you say to people that are listening to the program and they're thinking about being a part of this? If they are a part of this, telling someone else to be a part of this, and being able to rise above criticism as well, which we all face at times. What would you say to that person?
I would say look at what's going on around you, and instead of trying to take off on your own venture, look at what is happening and what is being successful. This is, and be a part of it. Take pride in your community. In a time right now in society or even in this nation where there's a lot of concern and a lot of melancholy, if you will, different issues going on, why not take place right here locally? That's been a big push, is local emphasis, local interest, and join in the efforts and take some time. Like Jenny said, just put it out there. Social media is the best form of advertisement, best form of communication right now. Join in those efforts and take pride in your community, because we can't do a lot about widespread world issues and even national, but we can do something right here.
That's true. That's true. And Leslie, as I said, it does take a lot of people. You have an excellent committee that works.
We do.
Who are members of that committee?
Okay. Well, Trish Knoll oversees the overall impression side of things. Jenny Gibson, floral display. Bill Thomas and Paula Milligan work with the landscaped areas. Chris Oschlager, she works for the Kentucky Department of Forestry, and she oversees our urban forestry program, and we are very fortunate to have her and that department in our community. Katie Williams oversees environmental efforts. We have Erica Lyons from she is our horticulture agent here at the Extension Office, and then you and Michelle are with the Community Improvement Foundation, and then myself. We all work together on all of these areas, but we like to put someone kind of in charge of each program, so that's our committee.
Right, and when you do that, it really comes together.
It does.
And everybody has a part to play, and they want to see that what they're doing is successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got a great team. Many of them have been with us from the very beginning, and just love the community. And well, they work very hard, as you said. Many things behind the scenes you may not hear about it or see it. You may see the results, but not know how it happened. But I guarantee you, they're all working very hard.
Well, we're about out of time, but we're certainly glad that you all have joined us. And you represent the mayor in the city of Madisonville, and I know the mayor is excited.
Absolutely, and I just want to say thank you to Mayor Jackson and the city council and all the city staff for everything that they've done to support these programs and to help make it a success.
Great, great. Any last comments, Jenny?
I just think it's important that everyone understands that these things are going on. This is not necessarily American Bloom. American Bloom is a framework that we can gather information about what lots of people are doing in our community and help coordinate their efforts so that they can be even more successful and say, hey, did you know that this group was also working on this? What if you work together and then maybe you can, at least give them those opportunities. I think we all get in the zone and do our own thing. So this isn't about just us and our ideas. We're kind of responsible for gathering the information, and when we see an opportunity to gather up people and pursue that opportunity. But most of the effort is helping coordinating and creating deadlines so we can all, as a community, accomplish great things. You know.
Great, Michelle.
I just think it's an honor to be a part of it. We are our community. We are partners in this, so I think it's good that we stay involved and stay informed and keep moving forward.
Great. Thank you all for coming and being with us.
Thank you, Tim.
And sharing. And the date, again, let's get these dates right. May the 26th will be the cleanup day.
Yes. If they're interested in cleaning, they can contact me at City Hall.
Right. We're going to put that on the screen, but tell us contact number.
Yes. 270-824-2101 is my office at City Hall. Be happy to get them involved.
Would like for you to do that, and it takes everyone getting involved in that, and we hope that you will participate. On June the 2nd will be the kickoff for the American Bloom, and the thank you appreciation as well, beginning at 11:30 a.m. You can take your lunch hour, come down, be with us. By 1 o'clock it'll be over, and we encourage you to do that and be a part of that. That's on a Thursday. We want you to be a part of that as well. Again, we appreciate you all coming. We're looking forward to exciting things in the future. Even the flowers, thank you, because in their color and in their blooming, they speak to us, and not only to our minds, but to our hearts as well. You've been watching Focus on Hopkins County. I'm your host, Tim Thomas. Join us for another edition of our program. By all means, keep sharing the dream.